Hi everyone, this is Becky Tovis. I am the crafty chamarita. I have to apologize because I can't seem to get my other camera to connect to my system. So you are going to be watching my demonstration without seeing my face. But that's okay because you remember a long time ago, that's how I used to do it. So anyway, my name is Becky Tovis. I am an independent demonstrator from Guam, and I come to you live every Friday at 12 o'clock on Facebook, and then I upload my live to YouTube afterwards. So thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching me live or you're catching me on the replay. And I'd so appreciate it if you like, if you follow, if you subscribe to any of my pages or my channel. Hi, Trine. Thanks for watching. I know you can't see my face, right? My system, I don't know. I even restarted everything and it's not working, but that's okay. So today, I'm so excited to be showing you a new card, a new fold that I learned. And I did it mainly because there is a designer series paper sale and a cardstock sale going on with Stampin' Up. And that will happen, I think, until the end of the month. So, you know what? Let me grab my paper real quick. I kind of wanted to show you the paper that I have on hand that's on sale. There's so much more, but quite obviously I don't have everyone's, right? I don't have everything. So this one is the Everyday Essentials Pack. So this is 15% off. This one, I love this paper. So this is called A Wonderful Match. And you might think, oh, it's a soccer paper, but really I've used it for so many things other than soccer. And I just love the combination of the green and the black. So one of the sample cards that I'll be showing you has this paper. And then we've got this paper, which is the 2026 to 2028 in color painted patterns. Love this paper. I use this as a sample. And today, and this one also, this is my all-time favorite. So this is called Nature Walk. And in fact, I have several packs of these already. I just love it. And so I'll be demonstrating the card using this paper. So there's several more, actually a lot more that are available. By the time I placed my order, some of them had already sold out. So if you're thinking of buying the designer series paper, I recommend that you get it sooner rather than later so that it'll still be in stock by the time you place your order. Okay, so let me get this out of the way so I have some room to work with. Sorry. The good thing is with not having my other camera working, you don't have to see me get up. So there was a piece of paper that I printed out and I forgot to take it out of the printer. So I wanted to give credit where credit was due. And so I learned this technique from G, and she is from Inspiring Creativity, One Card at a Time. That's what she goes by. Okay, so I usually post this in front of me so that I can see it, just to make sure that I get all the dimensions correct. So what I did was I prepped everything ahead of time. So I have the dimensions here. You can either screenshot it as I show them to you, or you could just wait and I will put the dimensions of the card in the description. Okay, so let me start off with the big pieces first. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock, and it's going to measure 9.5 by 5.5. I realized when I copied her dimensions, she goes by length and then width. I like to go by width and length. So I wrote it the way she wrote it, but when I put it down on my description, I'm going to switch it around because I always go width times length. I learned it that way and it's just stuck in my brain that way. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 2 and 5 inches on each side. I'll demonstrate that. And then this cardstock is going to be 10 and 5/8 by 3 inches. And we're going to score it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 on each side. I need to kind of let everyone know though, that when you are making this card, you are going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. If you are used to using the 8.5 by 11, which is what I tend to use all the time, you're going to need 2 pieces. Sorry, there's just no getting around that. Okay. And then you're also going to need, for the middle panel, a piece of 4 by 5 1/4. And you're going to need 4 pieces of 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. Then you're also going to need, for the middle mechanism, you're going to need 5 pieces. All of them are the same size. So it's going to be 2 3/4 by 1 7/8. One of them may be white. If the base of your card is a colored cardstock, you're going to need the white piece in the middle. Okay. And then these other 4 pieces could be anything you want. You can make them all the same color. You can make them different colors. It's up to you. For this card, I kept 2 of them that are the same, that are going to match this middle panel. And then 2 of them match the side panels. Okay. And then I've got my white for the middle part because my base is pretty peacock. Okay. So I'm going to put that on the side. All right. So let's go ahead and get started by scoring. So this piece is 9 1/2 by 5 1/2 out. And we're going to score it at 1/2 and 2 5/8 on each side. Okay, let me just make sure that my my trimmer is in the screen. Okay. So this is already cut to 9 1/2 by 5 1/2. Now I'm going to score it. So I'm going to score it at the 1/2 inch line, which is right here. And I'm going to remember to use my scoring blade, not my cutting blade. If you think you're going to get mixed up, then remove the cutting blade out of the way. Okay, so that's, where's my paper? I'm ready. Okay, just want to make sure I get it right. That's 1/2 inch and 2 5/8. The easiest way to remember this is that 2 4/8 is 2 1/2. So I always go to the 2 1/2 mark, and then I scooch it over to the next bigger mark here. Okay, so let me show you here. So this is 2 4/8, which is 2 1/2. And then that next mark here. If I get confused, then I always just count. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know I'm in the right place. Okay, so 2 5/8. And an easy way to remember this too is that instead of having to score at different dimensions or different areas, just turn your cardstock around. So you're just scoring it at the same place. So it's going to be 1/2 inch and 2 5/8. So here's 2 4/8, and I'll move it down 1. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all my scoring at one time. And so I can move the trimmer out of the way. And then this piece here, this is for the mechanism. So this is 10 5/8 by 3, and I'm going to score it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 on each side. So 2 1/8. So I'm going to look at the 2 line, and then between the 2 and the 2 1/4, that's 2 1/8. So 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing. 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. All right, I've got all my scoring done. Now I'm going to do my folding. Okay, so typically what I like to do, since the scoring part is here, this is the part that you're going to leave on the outside. So I'm just going to flip this around, because the yucky part is what's going to be on the inside. So I'm going to there's a middle part here. You're not going to touch this middle part. The score line closest to the middle part on the right-hand side, you're going to fold it in. And then I'm going to use my bone folder here. Okay. And then this piece here, I'm going to fold it out. And I'm going to use my bone folder. And I'm going to do the same thing, but for the opposite side. I'm going to fold it to the left because I'm folding it in. Just remember, everything gets folded in to the middle of the card. And then this piece gets folded back. Okay, and make sure that you use your bone folder so that you have nice crisp lines. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for this part here. There are 5 panels. This is the middle panel. So remember, you're going to fold it in. Okay, you fold that part in, and then this part gets folded out. This is the middle panel, so this one's going to get folded in. And then this one gets folded out. Because when you fold the card, and actually I forgot to show you, when the card opens up, it's going to look like that. So it can stand up on its own. Okay. So that's why the mechanism is the way it is. All right. So we've got our pieces all scored, ready to go. All right. So let's now start putting it together. So this panel here, I'm going to put in the middle. And I hope I have enough glue in this one. If I don't, I have a backup glue. And there's no top or bottom for this particular DSP, so it's however you want to arrange it. You know, I don't know what it is, but with the middle panel, it looks straight when I put it down, and then I don't know what I do, and I think I accidentally move it, and then it goes crazy. Okay, I'm going to do my 4 panels now. 2 of them are going to be in the inside, and 2 of them are going to be in the outside. So I'm going to just do the inside, one part at a time. And this one is non-directional paper, so it doesn't matter which one I put and which one I put it on the top or the bottom. If you are using directional paper, be careful how you cut it, because you want to cut it in the direction of the paper. I think in one of the samples I had to remember to do that because it was a directional paper. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this around, and we're also going to put the panels here. The great thing about this card too is that because the inside doesn't have a lot of room to write, you can use the back side of the card to do your message. So in one of the samples that I'm going to show you, I do just that. I made a sympathy card, and I wanted to make sure that I had room to write a message. Okay, so that's ready to go. The inside panel is done, right? Okay, so let me go ahead now and let me secure the middle panels. Okay. Okay, so the way I like to do this is that, you know, depending on which part that you want to have seen, because it's going to get folded like this, right? So which part do you want to have seen? It really, really doesn't matter. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. You can even alternate it. I just want to make sure that it aligns with how I lined up that paper, because I have the pretty peacock on the bottom. If you want to make sure they're all aligned, you can do one panel at a time. I am just eyeballing it. That's my favorite expression. Okay, and now I'm going to do the middle panels. I like using the Tombow glue because you have the time to wiggle it. You know, wiggle it just a little bit. If you're not placing it in the right, the placement is not correct, then you have time to move it around. Okay. And then for the middle panel here, I forgot to get out a stamp. Okay, let me see. Okay, I didn't get a stamp. So you know what? I'm just going to pull out something that I have on hand, because I had this for one of the sample cards. This is an old stamp set. I love it. I'm not going to put a sentiment. I'm just going to stamp an image. And I'm going to use Pretty Peacock here. Now, let me move some of these Post-its. They're in the way. But if you need to stamp anything, do it before you adhere this to your panel. Because if you wait and you do it afterwards, you run the risk of not having it be a flat surface, either from the glue that you're using or from the Stamp and Seal, whichever you decide to use. This panel is the one that I put it down, and in the beginning it looks straight, and then it moves on me. I don't know why. So I'm just going to hold this down for a second just to make sure it doesn't have a mind of its own and it moves in another direction that I don't want it to move. Okay, I think I cut this a little bit taller than the other ones, but it's okay. All right. Okay, I need to grab my pencil real quick and my T-square, because I'm going to need that for this next part. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this on top like this, and you just have to kind of make sure that it's even, it's in the middle, both vertically and horizontally. So you could tell if it's even horizontally because, you know, you could see how much is sticking out, right? So this one, I'm just trying to make sure it's even, okay? And it looks like it's even from top to bottom. Now to make sure it's straight, I'm going to use my T-square. I can already tell it's not straight because it's going up like this. Can you see that? Yeah, so that's very crooked. So let's just kind of move this down a little bit. Okay. That looks like it's straight. Now I'm going to mark these edges here, because I'm going to cut them off. So let me get my snips. And I'm just going to cut it where I marked it. So you're going to cut it along the score line. And you're going to do that for the other side as well. So even though the card originally may look like it's hard, it's really not. And once I started making this card, I thought, man, this is such a breeze. I pumped out 3 cards in no time just because it was so easy. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside, and now I'm going to put my mechanism back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it here, and I'm going to make sure that it covers. Oh no, I'm sorry, I forgot one more thing. I'm going to miter this. It just helps with the bending of everything and the assembling of everything. So you're just going to put like cut off like a small triangle. And how much you want to miter is up to you. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to be putting this back on. This one, I think I need to change my blade because I could see the paper fraying a little bit. Okay. I'm going to put this back on like this. Now that I could see that the panel's showing, so I'm going to move it up a little bit. Just want to make sure everything is even. And if you really want to make sure it's straight, take your T-square back out. Sometimes it may be a little bit difficult because it's all this bending. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to hold this down. And I need to fold this over so that I could put the glue on the middle panel. So I'm just making sure that my hand is keeping everything in place. You want this to not move, so be generous with your glue, but you're only going to put it on the middle panel. Okay, and just hold it down for a second or two just to make sure that the the stickiness sticks. Okay. So when I was watching G make this, to put the next part down, she just put the glue and she put it down like this, but I discovered it was easier for me if I put the glue and I put the panel like this instead. So that's what I'm going to do because it worked better for me. So you could do either way. So the glue is only going to go here. Okay, so you're going to put it down like this, or in my case, I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to put it down like this because I just want to make sure that the fold is good. Okay, I've got glue on my fingers. Okay, and because I'm right-handed, I'm going to turn this around because I work better that way. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So I'm just going to put glue here on this small part. I'm going to fold it in. And then I'm going to fold that piece over. So when you fold it, it should be that the middle panel lines up. It may not line up perfectly, like this one doesn't line up perfectly. And that's probably more to my cutting and my scoring than anything else. But you know what? The person receiving the card is not going to care. They're just going to think it's a beautiful card, right? So you don't have to worry about it. So when you open it up, it looks like this. Pretty, right? So pretty. And you can fold it either way. You can fold the right side over the left, or you can fold the left side over the right. It's totally, totally up to you. Okay. I'm right-handed, but for some reason, I like to pull it this way. I don't know why. So what I did was, ahead of time, I just die cut the flower that comes with this, what do you call it? With this collection. The word is eluding me. Okay. All right. So I'm not quite sure where I need to glue. So I just have to remember, don't glue here and don't glue at the edges of that. Okay. So I'm just going to put my glue down. And if I over glue, I can just take my eraser, my, what do you call it? Adhesive eraser. Oh, I said I wasn't supposed to touch that. So I got to be careful when I put this down. So you know what? I'm going to do it this way because I don't want the glue to get in the other places. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. Let me grab my Post-it because I think I glued the leaf that I wasn't supposed to glue. Put that down. Is there glue here? Yep, there's a little bit. Let me wipe that off. You know what? And I think what I may end up doing is this leaf is a little bit, doesn't have a lot of what do you call it? Support. So maybe I'll just cut it off. There, I can't tell that a leaf is missing, right? Yeah, because even this one, this is dangling off. And if if that bothers you, then cut it off. But if not, then leave it on. Because it just doesn't have a lot of support. It just has this really thin piece. But you know what? I think I've got glue here too. So let me wipe some of that off. Because I don't want it to stick to places it's not supposed to stick. See if I can get it off with my eraser and not tear the leaf. Okay, I can always go back to that and fix that part. Okay. So we've got this here, and I didn't, oh wait, I've got to put the sentiment. So I'm going to use my square punch, rounded square punch, and the sentiment is this one. You make the world a better place. I just like what it says there. And I'm not sure if this punch is going to be too big for the space that I have there. So I'm going to check. And if it's too big, then I'm going to cut it down. Okay, so you make the world a better place. Does that look too big or does that look okay? Yeah, I think it looks okay, right? I think it does. I'm going to go with it. Because if it needed to be cut down smaller, I would have used my punch and made it a smaller square. Let me grab some of my dimensionals here. And when I was looking at this, I knew that the square would fit. So I'm not worried about making sure that the dimensionals are in places that will stick, because pretty much the whole thing will fit. Okay. And here we go. Let's put this down here. There you go. And when they open up, ta-da! And then you can write your message here. Or if you want, you can put something in the back. And then it holds up like that. Isn't that pretty? And if you wanted to, you could even decorate this panel. You just have to make sure that it stays in the square, because it's going to get folded in. So you have to make sure that nothing is going to be protruding out. Okay? Nice, right? Ta-da! I love this design. All right, so this is the card that we made. And later on, of course, I always forget to bring the gems so I could put the gems on. So I have to do that after I'm done with my live. All right, so let me show you the other cards that I made. This one, this is from an old stamp set. I think it's called Have Faith. But this paper is on sale. Oh, I forgot to show you that paper. Let me grab it real quick. This is part of the designer series sale, paper sale, and it's called Beautiful Gallery. So this is 15% off, okay? And then I open it up, and it's so sorry for your loss. So I'm going to be going to a funeral this weekend, and I'm going to use this card. And then what I did was I put the white paper in the back so that I can write my message, okay? All right, that's how that card looks. All right, let me show you the other ones that I made. This is the one with the match day. I love the green and black combination. It's just so pretty. From your #1 fan, that's what I put in the front. And then it opens up, and then I put happy birthday. Okay, and this one doesn't have anything in the back. But because it's already white, if I wanted to write a message, I could. And this one uses the in colors. I use hydrangea hue. And I also use the Begonia Bell. I did my Facebook Live on this last week. I just really love it. And I checked before I went on today. It's still available. This is the product of the month. So if you spend $75, this can be yours for an additional $5. Okay? And it opens up like this. But I wanted to show you something about this card. I didn't score it properly. And you could tell that because when I folded it, the panels here don't align. But you know what? Nobody's going to notice that. They're not going to care. They're not going to say, oh, it's not aligned. They're just going to think that's part of the design. And so that's why a common saying that we have in stamping and in crafting is there's no such thing as a mistake, because you can always fix it, or sometimes it turns out better than you anticipated. And then I opened it up, and then I put down on the stamp, sending lots of happiness your way. And they stand up like that. All of them do. Love it. Love it. Love it. There you go. So I'll post pictures of these along with the dimensions. If it bothers you that this pops up, if it bothers you, then you can always put a belly band. But I'm thinking that it's a good thing that it pops up, so that when the recipient takes it out of the envelope, they can see that it can stand on their own without you having to say anything. So I kind of like the fact that it does pop up. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you guys can, please like, subscribe, follow, and comment. And if you do end up making this kind of card, post it, because I'd love to see what you did with it. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. And if you live on Guam, please be safe out there. We have very wet weather. Bye.